Good morning. My name is Eugene Ralph. I live at 2311 Licorice Place, Dallas, Texas, 75217. And I have a handout for the council that I'd like everyone to have. Thank you. I want to speak this morning in reference to the issue of fluoridation in the water. It's been brought to my attention in recent months that this is a growing problem. I was not one to really buy into the argument, but after doing some research, realized that this can be a problem, and I think that as members of the council, it would be to your benefit to actually take a good look at it. We consider over the years ago, we didn't see a problem with things like asbestos or things like lead in the gasoline or in other products, but now we've banned those things. We do all types of extensive remediation processes in order to keep asbestos from getting into the air when we're dealing with an old house and things like that. So we look back at the issue of fluoridation when it started back in the 50s. Basically, you know, it showed that we had 10% of the population basically was dealing with fluorolysis or whatever that is, where the tooth is being damaged by the fluoride. Well, now that we've increased the levels that we put in the water, that's gone up to roughly about 41%. And I think that is due not so much with the dosage, but also the levels, and that's what has to be considered. When we look at the toothpaste, on the little tube, it says, "Do not swallow." So when we're considering, we have two issues going on here. We have the issue of how it affects the tooth, but also how it affects other organs internally in our bodies. And we're always trying to figure out ways to basically get better at taking care of our health. And I want, you know, some of the minority members of the council to seriously consider what I'm saying here, because this has a more of an effect on the minority community, being that most minorities drink water that's probably going to be tap water, more tap water than others, than other members of the population. But also, we also want to consider that even in some of the bottled water, there's fluoride. In many of the other drinks that we use, there's fluoride. So when we consider the amount of the dosage versus the overall level that's going into the water, that's something that we want to be considered. Now, I appreciate your time.
Your next speaker, Brian Lobdell. Brian Lobdell, not present. Michelle Imburgia.
Hi, I too have a handout. Hi, my name is Michelle Imburgia. I live in District 14 at 5424 Miller Avenue, Dallas, Texas,
Yes.
5206.
Ma'am, would you move your mic down?
Down?
So, there we go. Thank
Everyone
you.
else is taller than me. I'm here today because I also oppose water fluoridation. Mayor, I want you to stand with Sheffy Cadane and encourage others to look into the concerns about fluoridation. Monday, October 20th, next Monday, at Winfrey Point at 7 p.m. will be a great opportunity to ask questions of two doctors that will speak about fluoridation. Dr. Paul Connett, a highly respected retired chemistry professor, spoke before you and the Dallas City Council on June 11th. Dr. Connett has been quoted saying, "Fluoridation is unusual, unnatural, unethical, unnecessary, unsafe, ineffective, and there are better ways to fight tooth decay in low-income families." That's a serious statement. I speak for many Dallasites that want to know, will you take this statement seriously? We look into each and every concern while being open-minded, seeking the truth and not just rest on the recommendations of the CDC and the ADA. The list of agencies, surgeon generals, and dentists that endorse fluoridation have been wrong before. It's not that long ago when cigarette smoking was a recommended treatment. And you'll have a miniature copy of a poster where Viceroy was the cigarette of choice of 38,000 dentists. People understand recommendations change when new research comes to light. People do not understand when it's obvious new research has come to light, but agencies and leaders hold on to old recommendations, unwilling or afraid to change. I understand the fear in taking a stand on this subject because the media and others that do not want the truth to be known have ways of labeling people that endeavor to speak or expose the truth. But I'm here to speak for the many that say you are elected to represent us. It is your duty to look into the risks related to fluoridation. The second doctor that will speak on October 20th at Winfrey Point is Dr. William Osmundson, a 30-year practicing dentist. For 25 of those years, he was pro-fluoridation. He brings eye-opening information as to why he now opposes fluoridation. You've also been given an article labeled two doctors from two other doctors. The title is Why We Changed Our Mind About Fluoridation. I'm sorry that if you take the stand against fluoridation, you might get attacked and labeled by the media. I know the thought of this stops a lot of people, especially the ones that have stated that they're pro-fluoridation. But I hope you will be strong. The public does appreciate leaders that will not be afraid to admit they are wrong, resting on the recommendations of the CDC statement that fluoridation is one of the top 10 health achievements of the 20th century is very weak. When we are the 21st century right now, and fluoridated poverty areas of America still have terrible tooth decay. Non-fluoridated poverty areas in Scotland have dramatically declined tooth decay due to their effective Child Smiles program, which stresses hygiene and nutrition. Park Cities has never fluoridated their water. Israel stopped fluoridation on August 24th of this year, and they banned it nationwide. Dublin, the largest. Thank you.